Good morning, my beautiful boys and girls. Welcome to my channel. So now we start the discussion of what is called the cusp of the ascendant, and this is one of the principles used in any form of astrology really. And it is difficult to understand astrological principles without taking case studies. So in this we will do 3 or 4 case studies of actual charts that I've done. We'll take the screenshots of each one of them and analyze them for this principle. And please understand, this is one of the many principles in Vedic astrology. It's a highly complex system. It's like peeling an onion, layers by layers by layers. So I will give my understanding for whatever it's worth. But the idea I'm sharing this in such a platform like YouTube is to get you interested, to get you started on this. Because I have seen many times, more than once, it is always the person who knows who they are the best. We do not show 95% of who we are to the external world. We have a huge internal world, each one of us as humans, and we show only 5% of that outside. Okay? Most of what happens in your life, as even Sadhguru would say, is happening inside you. So it's important to understand astrology from my perspective, and what I focus on is just nature and your personality, who you are as a human being, what are your talents, what will bring you joy, and so on. So let's get into the cusp of the ascendant. Let's discuss the principles here first. Now on the screen you see 5 points or 6 points that I have listed in the cusp of the ascendant. First of all, understanding what does the word cusp mean. It comes from Latin word which basically means intersection of 2 lines or curves, the intersection point of it. Now you see the Vedic astrology screen there, the chart, right? And I have shown the east-west and north-south directions of the chart, which we have discussed earlier. Please see my earlier videos on this series. And what is the rising sign? Rising sign or the ascendant is that intersection point at the eastern horizon at the place and time of your birth. So the cusp of the ascendant is the angle where the rising sign with its nakshatra intersects the eastern horizon at your place and time of birth, wherever you are born on this earth. Okay? So it's just an angle, it's some degrees and some minutes. Number 2, this angle carries to each and every one of the 12 houses. Starting from number 1 to number 12, this ascendant angle is what you've got to look for and measure against. Because this angle is the closest to the cusp. Meaning what? You're born maybe midnight, maybe midday. It doesn't matter which time of the day you are born or wherever you are born. The cusp dictates the angle at which your soul is being embodied in the human form, and it comes between the male and the female, the dark and light and everything. The soul is both all the time. I'm speaking deep esoterics here. So the soul enters the human body only at that time. This is why the ascendant degree carries to each one of the houses and every area of our life. That's the basis of understanding this. Once you understand that whatever angle you're born at and whatever ascendant nakshatra is, when that theme is going to play out in all the rest of the houses, you start the whole journey of understanding astrology. Okay, number 2. This angle carries to each and every one of the 12 houses, like I have shown in the pink arrows there. Number 3, the ascendant nakshatra and the pada and what it transforms to in the Navamsha, you can see my 27 nakshatra playlist there, is what you have to check. Number 4, check the houses in which each planet or point is situated and at what angle. We shall see this in case studies. Find out which one of this planet is closest to the ascendant angle in your chart. Number 5, your dominant planet or point will be that one. Even if your ascendant sign is something else. For example, if your ascendant is Libra and Mars is closest to the ascendant angle and sitting in the first house, Your nature and personality will be more like Aries than Libra. It changes completely, isn't it? Aries is the opposite sign of Libra. So even you might say this person is a Libra ascendant, but he's behaving like an Aries person. His personality is more like Aries. Now you would need to understand that, won't you? Otherwise you would have the wrong idea of what kind of ascendant you are or what you are as a rising sign. Number 6. The same principle can be applied to all Navamsha and the divisional charts. This is a tall claim, but I'll let you to investigate. Now let's get into the case studies. Now this first case study is of, let's say, a lady by the name A. Okay, and I have shown the main birth chart over there. I have shown the ascendant degrees on the right side of it, and bottom I have shown predominant elements. You can see the elements video in this playlist for more details. What do those mean? So we are just analyzing personalities and cusp of ascendant here. So the ascendant, as you can see in this chart, is in Cancer. The ascendant is at 11 degrees and 29 minutes. Okay, so now which one of this list of planets is closest to 11 degrees? We can see it's Rahu and Ketu, right? At 13 degrees. Everything else is a little more farther from 11 degrees. Now, because Rahu and Ketu are dominant in this person, they will have a more dualistic approach towards everything. Now, Rahu and Ketu are virtual nodes. They do not have an energy of their own except amplify the dispositor of where their sign they are sitting in. Rahu is sitting in this case in Sagittarius, whose ruler is Jupiter. So Rahu will behave like Jupiter, and Ketu's dispositor in this case is Mercury, because it is sitting in the opposite house, 180 degrees apart, in the 12th house in the sign of Gemini. Okay, so now this person's Jupiter, where is the dispositor sitting of each one of them? Jupiter is sitting in the ascendant and Mercury is sitting in the 4th house. So this person will have a bent of mind that is more spiritual in nature, because it is 6th and 12th. Probably the work would also be abroad in terms of understanding deep spiritual aspects. The Rahu Ketu axis in Mula and Ardra is going to the root of things. Rahu wants to, in Mula, go to the root of things. Even in Ardra, even in Ketu, this person brings the wisdom from the past life in that. And we can go on analyzing like that. But let's just stick to the cusp of the ascendant. So this person will be more Mercury-like and Jupiter-like. Mercury-like meaning they might be more like Gemini and more like Sagittarius in this case than a Cancer ascendant, even though their ascendant is Cancer. You see what I'm saying? So ascendant doesn't mean necessarily the whole personality is like that. Let's take the second one. This person by the name of D is a man. His ascendant, as you can see, is in Aquarius in 4 degrees 54 minutes in Dhanisha Nakshatra. And so what planet or point is closest to 4 degrees? First one is Mercury, which is at 4 degrees 28 minutes. The next one after that will be Jupiter. Again, this person has more Jupiter and Mercury playing out in the charts. Dominantly Mercury, which is sitting in the 4th house, and next one Jupiter, which is sitting in the 9th house. So 4th and the 9th, this person will be acutely critical of nature by communication, critical intellect, evaluating all of that. Why am I saying all of these things? Because Mercury is in a fixed sign of Kritika. When a communication and intellectual planet like Mercury gets into Kritika, it becomes very critical in nature, very discerning. Analyzing stuff, maybe criticizing people a lot, that kind of a thing. So even if you said Aquarius ascendant, which is all about other people, this person will be involved in criticizing a lot of stuff all the time. And one more thing I forgot to tell you in the last one, predominant elements. This person's element is Earth, dominant element down there, you see. And the next one is air. So this one is very grounded. He wants to think about all grounded stuff of life, and then evaluate everything in mental context, in the air context. Yes, air is the thinking element. So that's also dominant and slightly above average. See how you can tell personalities just by these three? The third case study we will take is of a lady named B. Okay. Now we can see her chart as well. She's a Gemini ascendant at 2 degrees and 48 minutes. So the ascendant cusp is 2 degrees 48 minutes. Which planet or point is closest to it? First of all, it's the moon, which is in the ascendant. And next comes the sun. Okay, so the sun and moon are drivers of this particular individual. I would rather take first two dominant principles, first two planets. Okay, so that will give us a driving point to understand this. So sun and moon are the drivers for this individual. Now sun is situated in third house in Magha Nakshatra, so it's very exalted. It is sitting in its own sign of Leo, and it is sitting in the third house of skills and abilities. So this person has excellent leadership qualities, and they will want to be a leader in whatever they are doing. This lady is a life coach, by the way, and doing very well for herself. And it's also moon in Mrigashira, which is always hunting for the dual side of things, meaning it looking for two sides of the argument, so they can become very emotionally connected to it, right? And we can see even in her elements down below, she's got air and emotion dominant. So she can be an excellent life coach. No wonder she is doing so well. Last one on our list is a lady by the name of S. Her ascendant is at 11 degrees 20 minutes of Gemini in Ardra Nakshatra. Now the closest planet or point in all the other houses when we compare in that list is Mercury. Mercury is at 15 degrees 39 minutes and Jupiter comes next, which is 19 degrees. Remaining all planets are all about 20 degrees, which is very far from the ascendant cusp. Because of this person, we can say quite confidently, Mercury is the guiding force of this person. This person wants to communicate, and ascendant being in Gemini, it's more dominant also. But Mercury is in the 12th house, so it might want to do that more in foreign lands. Like 6th house is the local work, 12th house is more like foreign lands. They might want to use their communication with people from abroad, not of their land. Next dominant planet is Jupiter, which is sitting in the ascendant in Ardra Nakshatra. So Ardra loves to dig deep into every kind of subject. Jupiter in Ardra wants to do it in a very dharmic kind of way, using the dharma, using knowledge, wisdom. Okay, so this person may become very wise through years. Okay, and they might also do something like coaching and teaching abroad. Ardra people also become engineers at profession. But for that, you'll have to take a lot more evaluation and other things into consideration. But do you understand the principle of the cusp of the ascendant now a little better? Because this is where guiding force becomes easier to understand. Otherwise, if you open a chart and start looking at everything thrown around there, all the planets, points, everything else, so many angles, so many nakshatras, 12 different signs and 27 different nakshatras, you'll get seriously mixed up. So this is the beginning point, and we'll keep uncovering this. In the next one also, we'll uncover another layer like this. Clues how to understand these kinds of things more easier way. Okay? Take care, be safe.